Good morning and welcome to the Covert Knits podcast. My name is Abigail and I am your host. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have just found the podcast, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I'm coming to you today from rainy, dreary Omaha, Nebraska. It is Sunday, April 12th, Easter Sunday, for those that celebrate. Happy Easter. And I'm just so excited to be podcasting again for the second time. I loved it so much and I just couldn't wait to do it again, so I decided to do it again this week. Today we're going to be talking about some of my finished projects. I have 3 FOs, finished objects, for those that don't know the lingo, and a few works in progress. I think I've got 2 whips, and then I also have a little bit of stash acquisition and a little bit of dream knitting. So that's kind of the order that we're going to go in today. So thank you so much for joining. Grab your drink of choice. Mine is my trusty Diet Dr. Pepper. And let's get started. First, we're going to start with what I'm wearing, which is one of my finished objects. I recently completed the Mira knit-along that is being hosted by the Knitwit Yarn Shop out of Portland, Maine. A friend of mine owns the shop, and I decided to join their knit-along because it sounded like fun. So I cast this on April 1st, and I had it done by midnight on April 10th. I'm a late-night knitter, so it was a very quick pattern. I loved it so much. So let's talk a little bit about it. Okay, so the Mira tee is designed by Elizabeth Smith. I think her Instagram handle is Elizabeth Smith Designs. It is a Quince & Co. pattern. You can find it on their website. Sorry about the barking. I have a dog. And they, so you can find it on their website. And I actually purchased the pattern on Ravelry. So I knitted out of Kestrel, which is a Quince & Co. Linen worsted weight. It's 100% organic linen. Let's do that. And I got knitted in the color Ebb Tide. It's 508. I used about 9.5 skeins of this, or 8.5. I'm not 100% certain of this yarn. I knit the smallest size. This pattern has 3 sizes, but they have big size ranges because it's supposed to be knit with quite a bit of positive ease. So I knit the smallest, which I believe is the 50 to 58 inch bust size. And mine does have quite a bit of ease. Not as much as the pattern called for, but enough for my liking. So that was, so I used a little bit over the amount of yarn it called for that size. And I did that because I did lengthen the body. I think it originally called for 8 skeins and I used closer to 9.5, because I did add about 2 to 3 inches to the length of the body, which I'd stand up and show you, but I'm wearing pajama pants and you can't really see from where I am anyway. I did make one other major modification on the pattern. It does call to pick up stitches around this edge and do about a 1 to 2 inch sleeve cuff here, just in stockinette. I did leave that off. I felt, for me personally, 1, that would hit me in a place that I don't like, and 2, it would be too tight on my arms and that would not be a look I would be going for. So I just decided to leave that portion off. I feel like where these sleeves come down to, they're kind of drop shoulder anyway. It's perfect for what I intend to wear the garment as, which is over tank tops or collared shirts for work. As a beach cover up, though there are no beaches in Omaha, so not for that. But it's just perfect. I absolutely love how the finished garment fits. I love how it looks. I love the feel of the linen. I didn't really have any problems knitting with the linen. I know a lot of people say it makes their hands hurt. That was not a problem for me. I have tons of the Kestrel left over because I purchased so much, thinking I was going to make it even bigger. I'm glad I didn't, but now I have some left over, so I will probably be making another pattern using the Kestrel, and I will definitely be making this pattern again in another color because I just love how it looks. I feel like it's very versatile. I can use it on the weekends. I can use it for work. So I'm just in love. So in a garment in 10 days, count me in. I'm there for it. So that is my first finished object. I do have a couple more. The second one here is, I am still knitting away on hats. So I knit, this is my, I think, 6th or 7th quarantine hat. Do this. If you watched the last podcast, you'll know I'm kind of just knitting hats using leftover yarn from previous projects to kind of clean out my stash. They are a good project for me when I'm trying to clear my mind, especially in these kind of difficult times when we're all staying at home and social distancing. The hat is, it's very simple. It is my own vanilla recipe. I just cast on a certain number depending on the weight of the yarn, and then do about an inch or so of ribbing, and then I switch to stockinette, and then I do a pretty rapid decrease because I'm trying to use up as much yarn as possible, so I get to almost the last tiny little bit of yarn, and then I do rapid knit two togethers all the way around for a couple of rows. So that it kind of gives a gathered top, which I don't mind, and it helps to use up the yarn. So let's talk about the yarn for this one. This was the leftovers from the first mini Montrealer that I knit, which is a cute little child size hoodie. So this was some of the leftovers from that. I used the Swish DK, let's show that, from Knit Picks. For this, the gray is the Dove Heather colorway, and the yellow is the Honey colorway. So it is incredibly soft. I just want to squish it all over my face. And it fits really nicely. Let me put this one on. This one is a little bit of a slouchy. I'm not the greatest at wearing hats, but there we go. And again, this more than likely will be a gift knit for the holidays. I'm kind of stashing the hats away. There are a few I'll keep, but most of them I will give to friends and family and things like that. So that was finish number 2. And finish number 3 kind of goes along with that. I knit a pair of fingerless mitts, which are a fantastic stash buster and a great quick gift. If you are a gift knitter and you're looking for something, I find that any kind of fingerless mitts, but especially this pattern in particular, is very quickly. So the pattern is the Paddle Mitts. Well, I think it's just called Paddle, but Paddle Mitts by Tincanknits. They have great patterns. They size them from child to adult, large. I knit probably 4 pairs for Christmas, and these actually are a holiday gift, a Christmas gift for this upcoming Christmas. I'm ahead of the game. 1 project done. Yay! For this friend of mine. So this was also knit using the Swish DK from Knit Picks. The gold is the honey color again, and the purple is the amethyst heather color. So I'll just show it to you on. These are so fast. They knit up so quickly. I inadvertently knit a combination of the adult large and the adult medium. I cast on the number of stitches for the adult large, so I did the number of stitches around for the adult large, but I did the lengthwise for the adult medium. So those are my 3rd finished object. And I just, again, this yarn is so soft. It is superwash, so it's a great gift knit. Perfect. I used up all of the purple, and what I showed earlier, this just is all I have left of this yarn from the Mini Montrealer project. It's just this tiny little half skein of this Swish DK. So I'm hoping to use this in combination with, I have some more Swish DK for another Mini Montrealer that I was hoping to get started this week. Didn't happen, but once I knit that up, I know I'll have leftovers, and I'll combine this with leftovers from that and hopefully use it all up. So 3rd finished object. Let me take a drink. All right. Moving into works in progress, I have 2 that I'm going to show you. Really, after I got these projects finished, I didn't cast on anything new this week, so I'm kind of just working through projects that I had, and these are the ones that got worked this week. The first is, excuse me while. The first is my Yorkville sweater by Mina Philipp of the Knitting Expat Designs. So that's that pattern. I am using this beautiful tweed yarn. That is from Teeny Button Studios out of New Orleans. It is Tweety DK. It's her DK weight, 85% superwash merino, and it is 15% Donegal tweed, and it is Treacle Toffee. It is one of her Harry Potter colors. Okay, so I did get a couple of inches knit on the body on this one. Sorry, should have had this all prepared. So this is the project so far. And I got a few inches on the body. I am past the point where she has you start the ribbing. I am going to make this as long as I possibly can. It will still be cropped, but I need a longer sweater to cover the more I have in front than the pattern calls for. So I love this project. I've said it before. It's a fantastic project. The yarn is beautiful. It's just requiring more of my brain power than I seem to be able to have this at this time. I know we're all struggling to kind of get through the days, or some of us are, and I'm definitely one of them. And some days the brain power required for this 8-row repeat that is really not very difficult is more than I can handle. But I am trying to do to add to it as often as I can, because this is a project that I know I'm just going to love and I will want to wear. So hopefully it gets done soon. So that is my Yorkville pattern. The other project that has been getting quite a bit of work this week is from is my pair of socks. I am knitting the London B.Ridge sock pattern by the Knitting Expat. I love her sock designs. I think they're great. I've knit quite a few of them. And I am using GnomeAcres in her Sparkle Gnome base. The colorway is Lovey, Dovey. She does not dye anymore, but I love this yarn. Quite a bit of it in my stash. So this is the yarn. There we go. And here are my socks. I turned for the heel. I do a German short row heel, which is what's called for in the pattern. I love Mina's German short row heel instructions. She does also include an instruction for to add a little bit of length, like a mini gusset. I do not do that portion. I prefer just to do just the German short row heel. And then this is just a plain stockinette with a few purl bumps thrown in. I just love how simple and mindless this is. It's working up really quickly. I do knit my projects 2 at a time, top down, cuff down. I knit on 2.5s, so those are technically 1.5 US 1.5s. These are Addies. I usually knit with Addies or Chigu are my kind of go-to needles. I do not have interchangeable sets. I have fixed needles for all of them, just because I have so many needles and I've been knitting for so long. So yeah, 2.5, cuff down. I do 64 stitches for the cast on, and yeah. I also do a kind of rounded toe also included in the pattern. So when I get to that, we'll show that when I finish these. Hopefully these will be done by next week. I didn't mention it, but the, I believe this Yorkville is knit on, I believe these are 6s. Let me make sure. Let me double check that. Yes, 6s. So, I didn't mention this when I was knitting, when I was talking about this sweater or the Yorkville, or this pattern, or the Yorkville, but I don't gauge swatch. I know that's going to have lots of people up in arms. I used to gauge swatch. I find that gauges lie. I find that I hate the math. And I'm just not going to do it. I was never knitting sweaters. I was never knitting garments of any kind because I hated gauge swatching so much. It caused me so much anxiety that I just didn't do it. So once I gave that up, I've now knit 10 sweaters in the last year and a half or so. And it's just working for me. I use the needles in the pattern. I understand that sometimes that will not work, that it will backfire, that a project will not fit me. But if that's the case, I can either pull it out and reknit it, and I'll do that if it's a project that I really want or I love knitting it in the first place, or I will gift it to someone else because I am a gift knitter. I enjoy giving my projects away. So I understand the risks. I've been knitting long enough to understand that not swatching, not checking my gauge is kind of gambling on the finished project. Unfortunately, so far it hasn't really come back to bite me, so I keep going and we'll kind of see what happens in the future. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe a gauge swatch I'll do one and it won't seem as overwhelming as it normally does. But I'm usually kind of an instant gratification knitter. As soon as I decide I want to knit something, I just do it, and I don't really like to wait around for gauge, knitting up the swatch, blocking it, letting it dry, doing all of those things. So I don't gauge swatch. That's my preferred method. I would highly encourage other people to gauge swatch to make sure that they're, especially if you're a newer knitter, to make sure that their patterns are appropriate for the size that they're looking for, things like that. I just don't do it. So that's my little PSA about that. People ask, that's my thing. So let's move on to acquisitions. I have 2 acquisitions this week. The first is yarn. When I was buying the extra kestrel from Knitwit Yarn Shop, I was FaceTiming with Jen, one of the owners, and I was specifically looking for yarn for the Wave of Change jacket by Bayron Handmade on Instagram, Denise Bayron. I'm sure I'm pronouncing her last name wrong, but that, so I really, really, really would love to make this jacket, and I just hadn't found the perfect yarn for it. So we were looking at the Quince & Co. That they have there in the shop, and I found this beautiful yarn, which is kind of an icy blue. I'm not sure with the lighting today if you'll be able to kind of see that. It is Quince & Co. Osprey, and it is 100% American wool. The colorway is Glacier. It's colorway 105. It is an Aran weight. So as I was just talking about swatching and gauge swatches, the pattern for the Wave of Change jacket does call for a bulky weight yarn. And in this is a case that I may have to play around with needle and yarn to get the right size, since the yarn I'm using is not the weight that the pattern originally called for. But I'm going to make it work. I bought 8 of these, so I think that should be plenty to knit the jacket in my size. And I'm so excited to get this cast on. I don't know that it'll happen right away, but I am hoping to get that cast on soon. And this yarn, it is, it's not, I wouldn't even call it rustic. It's very soft, and it's just beautiful. I just cannot wait to make this jacket. So that is one of my purchases. The other purchase that I made was bags. I love yarn bags. I have lots of them. You can't see them all, but there are a lot there. So I bought 2 bags from a designer that I had been kind of stalking on Instagram. I am a big Gilmore Girls fan. I watch a lot of Gilmore Girls, and she does these embroidered bags with things from the show Gilmore Girls on them. So I purchased 2 of her bags. The first one is this beautiful, they're both canvas, they're embroidered. This is Dragonfly Inn, Stars Hollow, Connecticut. It's a reference from the show. It's got the little tassel on it. It's got lobster claw and D-ring. Beautiful box bottom. And it's got a dragonfly print there inside of it. So this was my first one. And because one always needs 2, I bought this one as well, which says Meet Me in Stars Hollow. Has the iconic gazebo on it, which is, if you don't know, Gilmore Girls was filmed on the Warner Brothers backlot, and this gazebo is still there. I did a tour of the Warner Brothers backlot last year, got my picture taken with my mother in the gazebo. Best day ever. Okay, so same box bottom. So I should tell you who the maker is. So the maker is, you can kind of see the tag right here. It is Lila Styles on Instagram and Etsy. So these bags came very quickly. This one has a chevron inside. I just love it. The canvas is very sturdy. They're good sized bags. Right now I just have one skein of yarn in them each, Gilmore Girls themed yarn, which I'll show you in just a second. But they would be perfect for 2 or 3 skein shawl projects, whatever you need. So I just couldn't live without them. I needed to have them. And I like supporting small businesses during this very difficult time. So this was one of the ways that I could do that. So in here I'm hoping to kind of do my own Gilmore Girls sock knit along here soon. And so I pulled a couple of the skeins I have of Gilmore Girls sock yarn. This one is from Nomadic Yarns. Ashley is the dyer. This is her trusty sock base. 462 yards, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this is the colorway Oi with the Poodles already, which is a Gilmore Girls reference. It's a self-striping. So it's just gorgeous. I can't wait to cast those on. So I have those. And in the other bag, I have another Gilmore Girls themed yarn from a different dyer. This one is Quarry Fiber is the dyer. It is her 80-20 superwash merino nylon, 400 yards. It is super sock self-striping, and the colorway is the Dragonfly, hence why it was in the Dragonfly in project bag. So yeah, so I'm going to cake that up, and hopefully we will be doing a little Gilmore Girls knit along. A lot of the yarn in that bag right there is all Gilmore Girls. I have all the Quarry Fiber Gilmore Girls themed yarn, and I have a couple of other skeins of from random dyers of Gilmore Girls themed yarn. So hopefully I will be doing a sock knit along with those. Okay, and so that kind of was into dream knitting and acquisitions, and I have one more dream knitting project. I am absolutely in love with the City Limits sweater by Tanis from Tanis Fiber Arts, and I love her yarn, but the updates for her yarn for this project, the kits have been selling out like crazy. So I decided to go stash diving. So this is a faded pullover that can be worn inside or out or right side out. It's up to you. Sorry, my cat is freaking out over here. And you can knit it with as few as 4 colors. You could do it in 1 color, but the fade, you could do 4 colors, 5 colors, 6 colors. So I went stash diving and I found 6 colors that I am really excited to use. They've all been in my stash forever. They're all from one yarn dyer. And so this is, I'm not sure if I'll be able to hold it correctly, but we'll see if I can pull them out. So this is going to be my City Limit sweater when I get it cast on. So it is all Sweet Georgia. Sweet Georgia. I love her color. I love her tonals. And this is the Tough Love sock. Ooh. There you go. Okay, so we would start up here. This is linen. And then we would move to this basil color. And then we're going to go into this one, which is Goldmine. And then we're going to move into this one, which is Grapefruit. Sorry guys, this is very difficult to hold. Then we're going to move into this one, which is Cayenne. And finally, my 6th color is this red, which is China Doll. So, I don't know if I can do this. Sorry, that was not very pretty, but that's how it goes. Okay, so this is my fade. Nope, this is my fade. There we go. So this would be up at the top, this would be at the bottom. I had the lovely help of my family yesterday when we did our virtual Zoom meetup for their help in picking colors. They helped me decide which order they were going to go in. So I'm hoping to at least get this caked up this week, if not cast on. We'll see what happens. So yeah, it's a great pattern. It was free when it was first initially released. I think it is a paid for pattern now, but it's totally worth it. I love Tanis's patterns. I love her yarn. I have some of it in stash, but I'm sorry, my cat is just losing his mind right now. So if you can hear that, I apologize. So anyway, so that is future, hopefully cast on. I still also would like to cast on the mini Montrealer that I would like to make. That is also future cast on, but we'll see what happens this week. I'm not pressuring myself during this time to knit specific things or at specific times. I'm just kind of going as I can and knitting what I can. So, I just love it. If you don't know this about me, I love rainbows. I love anything that could be even slightly construed as a rainbow. So this is my favorite. All right. I think that is everything for this week. I really hope that everyone is having a great week and that they're social distancing, that you're staying safe, that you're taking care of your loved ones, that you're making it through however you can. I know that right now is so difficult. So just whatever you can do to keep yourself going, that's what you need to do. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you'll join me next time and have a good week. Bye.